Welcome to another new episode of the Get Organised with Decluttr Me podcast with myself, Shalina. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Today, I'm discussing a subject that's very close to my heart, and if I'm honest, to many of my clients' hearts as well. Decluttering and organising your books. And more importantly, how to do it without losing your love of reading or feeling like you've had to give up a piece of yourself. I've worked with so many book lovers, from passionate collectors to people who've simply accumulated books over the years, to those who just have a thing for cookbooks or travel guides. What unites us all, really, is that emotional connection books hold. They aren't just objects or decor, they're parts of our lives, our memories, our dreams for who we want to be or where we were at a certain point. If you're staring at your shelves, piles of paperbacks on the floor, or even that infamous to-be-read stack by your bed, and feeling a bit overwhelmed, you're not alone. Today's episode is all about helping you find the balance between loving your collection and loving your space. And I promise you, you don't have to become a book minimalist to achieve that. So as always, grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfy, and let's have a proper chat about how to keep the best of your books, lose the guilt, and make space for new stories, new memories, and a calmer home. So why is book clutter so emotional? Let's start here. If you've ever felt almost ridiculous for getting teary over parting with a good book, I see you, and you're in very good company. Books can represent so much. Past versions of ourselves, gifts from people we love, aspirations, all those one day I'll read this or one day I'll travel there books. Achievements. I mean, how many textbooks did we keep just because we managed to get through them? I kept my law books for so many years. I only got rid of them about 3 or 4 years ago, and I graduated in 2000. But I still kept them because I had gone through such a tumultuous time during my degree with my mental health, with depression and stuff, and I still succeeded. So I kept them. I couldn't let go. And plus, they were so expensive to get those books. My parents really didn't want me to let go of them, but they're obsolete now. And I'm not doing law anymore. So yeah, there was no point. But sometimes the guilt is the worst part. You see a shelf of unread books and it feels like a to-do list and one you'll never finish. It's so common and honestly not talked about enough. The other thing I see is that books are often seen as good clutter. They make you look smart, they're comforting, and nobody will judge you for having too many books. But even good clutter can become too much, especially when it starts to stress you out or take over your space. So my first bit of reassurance: it's okay to keep what you love, and it's okay to let go of what you don't. This isn't about emptying shelves, it's about shelves that make you smile, not sigh, and also don't break because you've got too many books on them. Now, you know me. I don't like the take everything out method. It drives me insane. It gives me anxiety. So imagine how much anxiety it will give you. And especially it doesn't work for someone who is emotionally loaded to books. We're not going to empty your entire home library out onto the floor. No one needs that level of stress. Instead, we're going to do my signature mini declutter, which will work beautifully here. And here's how. Step 1, pick your target. Start with one shelf, one stack, or one category. Say cookbooks or holiday reads. It could even just be your bedside cabinet. Then, pick up each book and gently ask yourself, have I read this? If not, do I actually want to read it? Would I buy this again? Am I keeping this out of guilt or obligation? Does this book make me happy, or does it make me feel behind or burdened? And now I have had this. So there is in Dubai this big wolf book sale thing, and they have them around the world, right? You know, like discounted books, and they have a big warehouse sale. Now, I don't buy that many. I see people buying trolleys full of books. I can never find a trolley amount of books in these sales, but I do buy 1 or 2 books, and I usually have them as the ones that I'll read on holiday. But I have bought stuff, and then they're always sealed in plastic, which is a waste of plastic. but they're all sealed and they just lie there for not even months, years. So I finally looked at these books and was like, I'm never going to read them. Like I bought them. I've gone on holidays and I haven't taken them. So why have I still got them? So I just gave them away. I gave them for donation. I have a friend who has a library in Jumeirah outside her house, and I just went and put them there for people to read it because I'm sure someone will read it. I just didn't have any desire to read it. And there's often that moment of relief when you finally admit you don't really want to read that bestseller everyone raved about 3 years ago. So you have permission to let it go. And that's what I gave myself, permission to let the books go. I'd wasted money buying, thankfully not too much because it was on discount, but I'm not going to read it. And here's something. It's okay to have aspirational books, the ones you want to read one day, but keep them in check, which is what I've had to do now. So if you have 100, you'll never get through them unless you're like Obama, because he seems to read like 100 books in a year or something. So maybe give yourself a to be read shelf or basket and let that be your cap. If you truly can't decide, set up a maybe pile. So put those books in a box or a bag, label it and store it somewhere out of sight. And set a calendar reminder for 3 months' time. If you haven't missed them, it's probably safe to donate them then. We often overlook these, but cookbooks, travel guides, old school books, and magazines can easily get out of hand. For cookbooks, do you actually use them or just 1 or 2 recipes? If it's only a recipe, snap a picture of it and let that book go. For magazines, anything over a year old can probably go unless it's a collector's item or you have a strong nostalgia to it. Now, let's talk about putting your collection back together in a way that actually works for you. So you can do it by category or genre. So this is practical for most people: fiction, non-fiction, cookbook, biography, children book, travel books, and so on. You can do it by color. So if your books make up part of your decor, color coding can be visually striking. Just be prepared that it may take a little longer to find that novel you're after if you do it by color. And if you do it by rainbow, bear in mind that it's going to take ages to find the colors of the rainbow. And not all books follow the colors of the rainbow. There are lots of books with black and white on the bind. So don't do it by rainbow, please. You can do it by author or series. So perfect for those who collect a certain author or a genre. This is lovely for kids' bookshelves as well, because they especially, who's that one? Julia Donaldson, like all her books are the same sizes and they're the same kind of artwork. So they look really good. I do it for Lisa Jewell. So in her old days, all her books used to be a certain more chick flicky look. Now they're more thrillery, so it doesn't work so well. But I do keep all her books together. You can do it by mood or theme. So this one's for the mood readers. Maybe you have a cozy afternoon read or a shelf of inspirational section or travel dreams. You can make up your own categories. Then you can do it by frequency of use. So current reads, cookbooks you use weekly, or children's favorites. They should be at eye level or within easy reach. So now here are some practical tips for your books. So use bookends to stop piles falling over, especially if you have floating shelves. Now, I have talked about this before. I spent over a year looking for bookends because I was really fussy about what bookends I wanted in my books on that bookshelf behind me. And yeah. And then a client was donating and get rid of like these really cool elephant ones. So I kept them because, the African in me. And then I found some other ones. But yeah, it took me 2 years to find suitable book ends. So I had to use books and pile them up to like hold the books up. It was, not practical. But that's me. I am very fussy. If you're short on space, you can try stacking the books horizontally for variety and function. And that's what I did. And I still do because it looks nice. And don't cram your shelves to bursting. Leave a bit of breathing room for your books and for new additions. But then you could declutter. Once you've thinned out your collection, see if you can carve out a little reading zone. It doesn't have to be a grand library. Even a small corner with a comfy chair, a lamp, and a small shelf or basket will do. If you're tight on space, a window ledge with cushions or even your bed with a nice bedside table can work wonders. The idea is to make reading feel inviting and easy, not another chore or stress source, if you know what I mean. So let your space support your love of books, not drown it out. So what do you do with the books you're letting go? This is often the trickiest bit for book lovers. You want your books to go to a good home, not just disappear into a bin. You can donate it to libraries, to schools, or literary projects. So, as I said, I have a friend who has her little mini library outside her house. So I go donate it to her. And I also give like Arabic books to a friend who gives it to kids who can't afford to buy books and they can read it. And, especially the children's books. Ask friends and family if they'd like any books. I do that with one of my close friends. We go for a lot of chick flicks together. So we swap books with each other. Also, look for local book swaps or set up a little free library if your community allows it. Some charities take books for hospitals, waiting rooms, or prisons. Sell valuable or rare books online or at secondhand shops. And for the truly worn out ones, recycle them. There's no shame in it if a book is falling apart, especially children's books. And don't forget, letting go of a book doesn't erase your time you spent with it or the meaning it had for you. I wanted to also talk about digital declutter, taming that Kindle, Audible, and ebook chaos. So let's be honest, the digital clutter can feel just as suffocating as physical clutter. Maybe even more because since it's out of sight, it's out of mind. My digital mini declutter is to do the following. So go through your Kindle, your e-readers, your Apple books, archive books that you finished or know you'll never read. Delete those free samples that sounded good at the time but have sat untouched for years. Now, in the early days of like Audible and Amazon Kindle and Apple eBooks, they gave a lot of free samples. I deleted a lot of them. I'm like, I didn't read them when I was at school. Why would I read them now? Because they're all the classics. Create folders of to read, favorites, reference, finished. I do that for the Lisa Jewell ones. So I have bought a lot of ones in paper form and I bought loads digitally. I had to create an Excel spreadsheet and list all the books because I couldn't remember which ones I'd bought and not, or read and stuff. So do that. So have folders. For Audible and other audio platforms, remove anything you'll never listen to and re-download what you truly want to listen to. Treat your digital library as kindly as you do to your physical one. The aim is to make it easy for you and inspiring to dive into your next read. So after your big mini declutter, if you allow that phrase, I haven't said that before, but let's allow it, a big mini declutter. You'll want to keep your space manageable. So here's how I do it and how I recommend it to my clients. So every time a new book comes in, consider it if something else can go. Now, you could do what I always say is buy one, get rid of two, but it's sometimes more difficult with books, but try if you can. Once a month, do a quick shelf scan. So are these books you're done with or you no longer want? Keep a donation basket somewhere out of the way for the books so you're ready to part with those ones. And when that box or basket is full, donate those books. For digital, every few months, review your library and clear out the excess. If you're still finding it hard to part with books, remind yourself you're not letting go of the love of reading, you're just making space for it to flourish. So I wanted to share a few stories here because this is always where people get stuck. I wanted to give you inspiration because that will help you. So I had one client who was a serious collector and they struggled with the idea of letting anything go. So we started with the easiest shelf, which is the cookbooks that she never used. From there, it became easier to tackle the fiction, the non-fiction, and then the really precious ones. By the end, she had such a beautiful curated library of books she genuinely loved and space for new finds. Another parent was drowning in children's books, and loads of parents do, that were just no longer age appropriate. So we sorted them together and she donated the younger books to a school, keeping a small box of favorites for nostalgia. Her children love seeing the books enjoyed by new readers. They even went with her when they were going to give it for donation. If you've loved this episode, please share it with your fellow book lovers, subscribe to the podcast, and please leave a review. I'd love to hear about your stories, about your own book decluttering journeys. So tag me on Instagram at Declutter Me or send me a message. And if you have a question or topic you'd like me to cover next time, please get in touch. Until next time, have a lovely time reading your books. And thank you for listening as always. Take care. Bye.